Chapter 9 Foundation Course, page 117. These are powers and roots. Alright, let's just jump straight in. I just won't go into questions necessarily. What I'm going to do is just list a few bits and pieces. Well, 6 squared, obviously 6 times 6, you know that. That's called 36. 13 squared, what does that mean? It means 13 multiplied by himself. No calculators allowed. 169. Just got to memorise that one. The square root of 121. Well, 11 times 11 makes 121, so the square root of 121 is 11. 1 squared, don't be baffed, it means 1 times 1, which is still 1. Incidentally, even if we went to 1 cubed, it means 1 times 1 times 1, which is still going to be 1. Alright, so don't be put off by that. 9 squared, what does that mean? It means 9 nines, and that therefore comes to 81. Very basic. Square root of 64. Well, it's 8 because 8 eighths makes 64. That's enough of that. Write down the value of 2 to the power of 3. Question 3 now. Well, that means, oops, that should be equal, shouldn't it? Don't like that. Scribble it out. That means 2 times 2 times 2, and it's not 6. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again is 8. So 2 cubed, or 2 to the power of 3, is 8. Here's another one. I've got here the cube root of 216. Well, let's think about this, shall we? I've got 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. I didn't make it. I know that 5 times, I'm just talking here, right? 5 times 5 times 5, well, that's 125. That's no good, so we're going to try 6 times 6 times 6. Let's work it out. Well, 6 sixes are 36. If you multiply that by 6 again, this is what we get. 6 sixes are 36. 6 threes are 18. 19, 20, 21. And there it is. Without a calculator, the cube root of 216 is 6. So there's my final answer. That's just me thinking out loud. In other words, to give you exposure to how my brain works. If I've not come across these before. Of course I have, but you haven't necessarily. And finally, I've got the cube root of 27. Well, that's going to be 3. Why is that? Because 3 times 3 times 3 makes 27. And that's all I want to say about that. Question 4 says work out these things. Okay, so 1 cubed plus 4 squared. Well, 1 cubed is 1. There it is over there. And 4 squared means 16. Answer 17. How about this one? The cube root of 8 plus 4 squared. Well, the cube root of 8 is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 4 squared is 16, altogether 18. Landed it. That's going to get boring now. Let's just do the last one. The square root of 169. Now bear in mind, this is the foundation course, and you're not allowed to have a calculator. So whilst it looks extremely ugly, it is actually very easy. You've got to know that the square root of 169 is 13. Simple as that. Well, there you go. Look, 13 times 13 is 169. So if you're working backwards, root 169 is 13. So the square root of 169 is 13. Take away, well, that's 3 squared, otherwise known as 9. So 13 take away 9 is roughly 4. Well, exactly 4. And that's all there is to it. Over the page now. I'm not doing that one. Here's a question for you. Question 6. Which is bigger? 2 to the power of 3 or 3 to the power of 2? No guesswork involved. Work them out. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9. And must give the conclusion. Therefore, 3 squared is bigger than 2 to the power of 3. Nothing wrong with writing like that. Here we go. Do one more down here, and I might just stop. Square root of 64 or the cube root of 125. Again, you've got to know these. Square root of 64 is 8. The cube root of 125 is 5, because 5 times 5 times 5, there it is, just there, is 125. So which is bigger? Therefore, the square root of 64 is bigger than the cube root of 125. Now, if you start to flip in an exam, you can't remember which way around the sign goes, don't bother writing it. Just write down square root 64 is bigger than cube root of 125, and we'll say no more about it. Right, number 7. I better turn over for this, hadn't I? It says, it looks horrid, but it really isn't. It says here, write down an approximate answer to the following: 4.99 squared. Now, please don't even try and work out 4.99 times 4.99. Say to yourself, that's approximately 5 squared. and that's going to be about 25 therefore. Fair enough? Next one. The square root of 50. Well, you can't do it without a calculator. But that's roughly the square root of 49, because your brain should say, wait a minute, 7 7s are 49, that's roughly 50. So therefore that's 7. And finally, Cyril, we've got the cube root of 999. Don't be fooled by it. I know your emotions say, oh, the answer's 333. No, it's not. You're supposed to think of a number which, when you multiply by himself again and again, comes to about 999. When 999's about 1,000. Now look at it all fall apart. It can't hide anymore from us. Look, the cube root of 1,000 is 10. Why? Because 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. And that's all I want to say about that. Okay, nice short video. Just get the foundation sorted. That takes you up to about grade D, but no more than that. It's really easy, isn't it? Now go away and study.